this what it's come to? Is this what y'all want? I guess so. I'ma give you what you want. Woke up, chose violence on the wicked man. Mapped it out, changed my mind, I have a different plan. Who's telling the truth if it isn't Dan? Gucci Mane before jail, cause I'm a different man. Had a couple of folks that went left on me. Spit on my name and then they stepped on me. Prayed to Yahweh, he blew the breath on me. Better late than never, that's what the chef told me. Seen a few things that I cannot forget. Papoose dropped Remy to get a boxer chick. It can't be all love if it's not respect. Don't gamble with me if I cannot collect. Bet on yourself, go ahead and roll the dice. I don't care for designers, I think they're overpriced. The skinny jeans look is finally dying out. And where they heard I'm coming, I heard them crying out. Get stressed a lot, cause I get blessed a lot. Took a couple grand and invested in Tesla stock. Poke out my chest a lot, I'm not impressed a lot. On the Sabbath day, I'll probably get rest a lot. They say priest is soft, don't believe your mans. I got an AR-15 plus my feet and hands. Lead with the left, jab got him looking lazy. Mayweather beats, and that's cause the hook is crazy. Life is never easy, it's gonna be a hard fight. Keep a poker face, I gotta play my cards right. Same routine, sleep, pray, and make money. Wrote so many bars, Kevin Hart, it ain't funny. Oh Lord, I know the wolves are preying on me. Put my hands together and do a pray emoji. Till our ignorance is finally dying out. And when they heard I'm coming, I heard them crying out. Easy. You heard?
Clap your hands. Do your dance. Stomp your feet. Praise him while you're here. Clap your hands. Do your dance. Celebrate. Praise Yahweh's name. This is not a sad song, not a mad song either. I know it's been hard on you lately. Just take a breather. Tell God thank you. He gave you everything you have. Rest as life. We should be there. We should be there. Grace is this life, what a gift. He's been lifting our heads, trying to wake us up to the truth. Through the trials, through the storms, through the tears. Every heartbeat's a reason. Every moment a test in its season. Rise up, be grateful. Give God your best. Do your dance.
All right, guys, what is going on? What's going on, everybody? What is going on? What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another Saturday morning class from the Lions of Israel. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, whose name is Yahweh, the supreme intellect of the universe. I do so in the name of his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai, who the world calls Jesus Christ. It's your brother, priest Daniela. I want to give a shout out to everybody that's watching us on YouTube, on our YouTube channels, Maccabees TV, as well as the Lions of Israel class. Guys, make sure you guys subscribe to the channels if you're not already subscribed, and make sure you guys hit the notification bell so you guys can be notified every time that we go live. As a matter of fact, for those that don't know, we are actually going live again tomorrow. So I'm going to make sure that I set that up so you guys can see what we have going on for tomorrow, because we will be going live tomorrow as well. All right. I want to give a shout out to everybody that's listening to us on Clubhouse as well. You guys, the link is at the top of the room for the lesson. Today's lesson, of course, is going to be a PowerPoint lesson on a scale of 1 to 10, whether you can just listen to the class or whether you'll be better off actually coming over to YouTube and watching it live. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to say today's class is 10,000. 10,000. You guys will be much better off on YouTube so you guys can actually see what's going on, because I'm going to be playing a lot of videos and I'm going to be showing you guys a lot of information. All right. With that being said, without further ado, I see the Elder Zab just popped in. So without further ado, Elder Zab, if you want to come off mute and say anything, the floor is yours. Zab, you there?
Yeah, Shalom. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. Ashar Shabbat to the family. Barakatah Yahweh B'Shem HaMashiach Yahushai. Y'all little one want to say something? Say Shalom. Say Shalom. Don't eat the mic. Say Shalom. All right, King. Nah, that's it, man. All praise to the Most High. I'm here.
All right. All praise to the Most High. So again, guys, for those of you guys that are on Clubhouse, as I mentioned, you guys are better off coming over to YouTube because we're going to be looking at a lot of information today, okay? So without further ado, let me just make sure that I sound good as always. I like to do that. So if the audio is good, guys, put 1 in the chat. Let me know the audio is good. Let me know the audio is good. Put 1 in the chat and let me know we're good. Oh, guys, guess what? I was on YouTube. I was on Clubhouse and I was muted the whole time. Shout out to the Clubhouse family. I'm sorry, guys. You guys couldn't hear me. The link is at the top of the room, guys, on Clubhouse. And today's lesson on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say it's a 10,000, meaning you guys are much better off coming over to YouTube and watching what I'm going to show. Definitely, if you can't, you're indisposed, you can listen, of course, but I'm going to be showing you guys a whole lot of information today. So I want you guys to be over here so you guys can see it for yourselves. With that being said, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen. Let's do that. All right. All right, guys. So, you know what? Bear with me 1 second. There's one thing I forgot to do. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I forgot to do one thing, and that was open the PowerPoint up, right? That would certainly make sense, wouldn't it? Let me come over here and open it up real quick. Now I do see that I have a red bar already on Clubhouse. So if at any time I'm choppy and you guys can't hear me, you guys are welcome to come over to YouTube and actually look at the presentation. All right, so now we're all set. Let's go to share the screen again. And this time, I think we're going to get started for real. All right, guys, so today's lesson, without further ado, is called The Rise of the Machines at the End of the World. And the reason why I named this lesson this is because as we move over into what is being termed the fourth revolution, it's called a digital revolution. As we go into this fourth revolution, technological revolution, we're moving over to what's called a digital age. And the digital things that we have right now access to seem to be very helpful to us, right? Like many of us are actually using AI to create images and using AI for a bunch of different tasks that we do every day. And I must admit it's helpful. Like you can go over to Wix, to their website, if you have a business, and AI can build your website in less than 5 minutes. Where before you had to go to professional graphic designers, professional website designers, and you would pay hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars to create a professional looking website that now can be created in under 5 minutes by AI, right? So AI is pretty much doing everything and making our lives a lot easier. So it seems as though it's something that's beneficial to human beings, but that's how everything starts off. But what we're going to find out is this introduction into this digital age is really causing Esau to show his horns and tell you who he really is. And so as Esau begins to show his horn and tell who he really is, it proves the Bible to be true. And we are approaching the end of the world because this technology is going to be the end of Esau. That's what it's going to be, whether you believe it, accept it or not. With that being said, let's go ahead and let's get started, right? So I wanted to start off, of course, because we're Bible people. So we start off with the Bible. Let's pick it up at Psalms chapter 36, starting from verse 1. It says, "The transgression of the wicked saith within my heart that there is no fear of God before his eyes." Esau has no fear of the Most High. As you guys are going to see, and I've taught this before, they're trying to merge man and machine and make man and machine one. That's called transhumanism. That is as demonic as it can get. As though the Most High did not create the perfect design of man and woman the way that we are, and we're not machines, we're flesh and blood, right? They want to turn man into a machine. They have a better idea than what the Most High created, according to them. Verse 2, "For he flattereth himself in his own eyes." You're going to see that they're boasting of this technology until his iniquity be found to be hateful. The words of his mouth are iniquity and deceit. He hath left off to be wise and to do good. Right, because Esau was never going to do good anyway. They're the wicked. He deviseth mischief upon it. They sit down at night in their beds and they think about different ways and different things that they can do to basically enslave mankind. You guys are going to see that. I'm not being hyperbolic because that's what this technology was created to do. To pretty much put people back in slavery without the chains. And this time, you're not going to be able to run off the plantation because the plantation is going to be the entire globe. It's going to be everywhere. Now, I always say this, and I'm going to show it one day. I'm wondering, should I show it right now? Let me see something, man. I might just give y'all, because I said something. I was about to say something, but I like to demonstrate things real quick. Real quick. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for 1 second. Y'all bear with me. We're going to build it while we fly today. We're going to see a lot of new things and learn a lot of new things. So just bear with me 1 second. I'm going to stop sharing for 1 second. And I want to see if I could find something here. Let's see. There it is. Okay. And while I'm at it, let me do this too. Just get everything up so I don't have to disturb the lesson anymore. Now, I might go over my time today because it's a lot I need to bring out, and I don't want to jumble it up. This lesson is going to be probably for the whole entire month, meaning I'm going to be going over this the whole entire month. When Israel does something stupid, and I have to talk about that instead of talking about prophecy and what's going on in current events, which I want to talk about. Hopefully nobody does anything crazy, at least this month, so I can stick with the lesson plan that I have. I'm going to share my screen again. Let's see what we have here. I want to go right to the slide so you guys can see it for yourselves. Let's see. Okay, yep, let's do this real quick. And this is a PowerPoint I'm still building, but the Spirit is telling me to show you guys this before what it is I was talking about. So I'm going to share my real quick, entire screen, and we should be good to go now. I have everything open that I need. Okay. So this is a whole different PowerPoint. You know what I'm saying? We are on Clubhouse. We have our little back and forth, so, you know, about whether the Android is better or whether the iPhone is better. You know, we'd be joking and snapping on each other about stuff like that. And you guys always hear me say it, and people think I'm being hyperbolic, but I'm telling you something. Esau gets these technologies from spirits. They're dealing with spirits, things that we can't see, we can't comprehend, we can't perceive. Esau is not that smart. He's dealing with spirits. Sometimes those spirits come to them when they're in their beds, like the scriptures say, and sometimes they will have to travel halfway across the world and climb a mountain and go into some damn demonic temple, and the spirit shows them how to do things then. So this is your boy Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs is responsible for all your i stuff, your iPhone, your iCloud, your iWatch, your this, your that, all those things, right? What I always tell people, before Steve Jobs went to India, dude was basically a cokehead. And he traveled to India and went to this particular temple somewhere in the mountains. I'm going to show you the video right now. And prayed to some demon in this temple and came out a genius. And this is where you get all your technology from. Don't listen to me. Listen to the video. Listen to the video. Listen to the video. Let's go.
In 1974, a young Steve Jobs read a book called Be Here Now by Ram Dass, a famous American psychologist who later became a disciple of Neem Karoli Baba. In this book, Ram Dass mentioned how his meeting with Neem Karoli Baba transformed his life. After reading the book, Steve, who was working an ordinary job at the time.
So at the time, Steve Jobs was working an ordinary job, and he was a drug addict. But he read this book about some guy that went to India and met with some Indian guy over there in some temple, and it changed his life. So Steve Jobs said, you know what? I'm going to do that too. Listen.
And also had a drug problem.
So your boy Steve Jobs had a drug problem. Let me go back a little bit so I'm not breaking it up. Steve Jobs worked a regular job, and he was a drug addict. And went to India and learned about to make this technology. How do you think he got it? Listen.
Neem Karoli Baba transformed his life. After reading the book, Steve, who was working an ordinary job at the time and also had a drug problem, decided to travel to India with all the savings to meet Neem Karoli Baba in Kainchi Dham, Nainital. Unfortunately, Neem Karoli Baba had taken Mahasamadhi a few months prior. Steve visited Baba's temple and ashram, Kainchi Dham in Nainital. He spent a little over 7 months in India and then returned to the US with a clear purpose in life.
So he went to that temple, prayed to the devil, and came back to the US with a clear purpose in life and began the company Apple that you guys love so much today. He got that from the devil. I'm telling you.
1976, a little over a year after coming back from India, he founded Apple Computers.
And that's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. Because we're traveling down a path today. I'm showing you guys this technology that seems friendly to you is not friendly to you. And white people did not create this technology because they're so smart. They're dealing with spirits. Now watch this. Let's go to the next slide, right? Let's now talk about your good guy, Mark Zuckerberg. He's the one that gives you your Meta. And by the way, they just unveiled the Meta glasses and the Meta watch that go together. The pair, the set. How did Mark Zuckerberg get so smart? Well, let them tell you. Listen, y'all, somebody come listen to this, please. Somebody come listen to this.
This is a story that I haven't told publicly, and very few people know. But early on in our history, when people wanted to buy Facebook and thought we should sell the company,
at first, Facebook was a failing company, guys. It was a failing company, so that he was considering selling the company. But what happened? What happened next?
People wanted to buy Facebook and thought we should sell the company. I went and I saw one of my mentors, Steve Jobs, and he told me that in order to reconnect with what I believed as the mission of the company, I should visit this temple that he had gone to in India.
Did y'all catch that? Did y'all catch that? Steve Jobs went to India, prayed in some temple to some demons, and came back and founded Apple. Mark Zuckerberg looked at Steve Jobs as a mentor and went to him when Facebook was failing. Steve Jobs told him, listen, guy, go to India and go to that same temple and pray to the same devil I did. And when you come back, you're going to create Meta. Are y'all seeing this? Okay. Okay. Now let's bring it right on back to today's lesson. I just want to show y'all that. So all of my brothers and sisters on Clubhouse that we be arguing with about the iPhone, your iPhone was inspired by the devil. I'm just saying. It's all good though. Ain't no hate on my part. I'm just saying. Anyway, let's get back to the PowerPoint, right? So where were we? We were right here. First slide. Psalms 36, verse 4 again. It says, he deviseth mischief upon his bed. What is the mischief? This technology that they've created that they're going to use to trap people with, use to enslave people with. He setteth himself in a way that is not good. He abhorreth not evil. They love what they're doing. As you guys are going to see, they're gleeful about what they're doing, and they're speaking about it openly. Let's go to the next slide. First, we need to deal with us. How did we get here? How did we get here? This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 15, starting from verse number 1. It says, then said the Lord unto me, though Moses and Samuel stood before me, yet my mind could not be towards this people. Cast them out of my sight and let them go forth. We were cast out by the Most High because we sinned, we transgressed. So the Most High could not be towards us. And instead, the Most High cast us out. Now, what happened when the Most High cast us out? This is verse number 2, Jeremiah 15. And it shall come to pass, if they say unto thee, whither shall we go? Yes, if the Most High casts us out of our land, where we're going to go? Then thou shalt say, thou shalt tell them, thus saith the Lord, such are from death to death, such as are from sword to sword, and such as are from famine to famine, and such as are from captivity to captivity. Now, you guys are looking at the screen right there. For those of you guys that are watching the lesson live on YouTube, if you're on Clubhouse, click the link at the top of the room. Today's lesson is very, very visual. You guys are watching. Look at that table that I have on the screen. That's what it means when it says from death to death, from sword to sword, from famine to famine, and from captivity to captivity. We endured all these things at the hands of the other nations because we broke God's laws. So we find ourselves here at the end of this age, or we call it at the end of the world, Esau's world. We find ourselves here in this age where everything's going to go digital and they're going to try to re-enslave everybody. We find ourselves here because we broke God's laws. See, we want to point the finger at Esau and say, Esau's the devil, which is true. But we didn't have to be subject to what the devil is doing if we were as a nation obedient to the Most High. And something else we should notice, going back to verse number 1 real quick, something else we should notice that it just came back to me. Let's read it again. It says, then said the Lord unto me, though Moses and Samuel stood before me, yet my mind could not be towards this people. What is it showing you? Even though amongst Israel you had righteous men, when the Most High put Israel in captivity, the righteous men were in captivity with the wicked. We were all there as a nation together. We all suffered together. So for those of you that have white friends and white co-workers and Chinese friends and Chinese co-workers that you feel sorry for, and you want to argue with us, if the Most High did not spare Israel, even though there were righteous men amongst us, the other nations aren't going to be spared either. You better believe it. Let's look at Psalms chapter 17, verses 13 through 15. It says, arise, O Lord, and disappoint him. Because the Most High is going to disappoint Esau. Even with all his technology that he has, his arms are too short to box with God. He's going to lose. Arise, O Lord, and disappoint him. Cast them down. Deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. That's what I was saying. The Most High doesn't come off his throne to punish us. The Most High used the nations that were around Israel to punish us. The Most High uses the nations that we were scattered into to punish us. That was God punishing us using the hands of these other nations. Verse 14 again. From men which are thy sword, O Lord, from men of the world which have portion in this life, fill us with thy hid treasures. They are full of children and leave the rest of their substance to their babies, right? Because what they take from us, passed down from generation to generation. Meanwhile, our people, we have the same wealth as a nation, as a people, that we had when we got out of slavery. Nothing has changed or progressed for us. Most of us do not leave an inheritance for our children. Most of us leave debt for our children. Verse 15, as for me, I will behold thy face in righteousness. I shall be satisfied when I awake with thy likeness. Right, those of us that have repented, we behold the Most High's face. We are obedient to the Most High, his laws, statutes, and commandments, the do's and the don'ts. But the Most High is looking for a righteous nation. And in order for the Most High to have a righteous nation, sadly, and this is cold, sadly, many of our people in this coming age that's coming, these upcoming wars and famines that are coming, many of our people are going to be wiped out. And that's just what it is. Let's move to the next one. Coming back to Jeremiah 15, we're going to pick it up at verse number 3. It says, and I will appoint over them 4 kinds, saith the Lord, the sword to slay, and the dogs to tear, and the fowls of the heaven, and the beasts of the earth to devour and destroy. Verse 4, and I will cause them to be moved into all kingdoms. And that's where we find ourselves today. From the time of Babylonian exile up until today, we find ourselves removed into all kingdoms. Because when we return to Israel during the time of the Persians, right? Not all of us went back. But today's not a history lesson. Many of us stayed in the diaspora. Verse 4 again. And I will cause them to be removed into all kingdoms of the earth because of Manasseh, the son of Hezekiah, king of Judah, for that which he did in Jerusalem. So what the king did in Jerusalem fell upon all the people. Because whatever the king was doing, believe me, the people were following behind doing it as well. Verse 5. For who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem? Or who shall bemoan thee? Or who shall go aside to ask how thou doest? 6. Thou hast forsaken me, saith the Lord. Thou art gone backwards. Therefore will I stretch out my hand against thee and destroy thee. I am weary with repenting. So why are we in the conditions that we're in today at the bottom globally? I'm talking about our people, wherever we're scattered, because the Most High is weary with our repenting. Because it wasn't sincere. It's almost like if you're a parent and you have a child and your child does wrong. And you give your child a warning, don't do that again. And the child goes back 5 minutes later and does the same thing again. And you catch them. And they say, oh, I'm sorry. And then they go back 10 minutes later and do the same thing again. How long before you become wary with the apologies because it's not sincere? That can apply to your children. That can apply to a friendship. That can apply to a relationship or a marriage. And that applies to our contract with the Father. The Father's tired of us as a people. Because we say and do not. So this is why we find ourselves in this precarious position that we're in. Let's move on. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 6. We're going to read verses 12 through 14. It says, and I beheld, when he had opened the 6th seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth hair, and the moon became as blood. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. All the celebrities, all the people that we look up to are going to be cast down with a mighty wind. What is the mighty wind? That mighty wind is the nukes. Nuclear fire. The final judgment of Babylon the Great. Verse 14. And the heaven departed as a scroll, like the heaven enfolding in itself. Like when you guys see when they drop the bomb, it's like a mushroom cloud. It looks like the heaven is folding in itself. That's what John is seeing. It's the best way that he could describe it. So this is their future. So it's already decided what's going to happen to them, right? And they know it. Now, real quick, I want to show you guys. I want to do a quick exercise. Because a lot of times when you talk to people that are not spiritual, they'll tell you that one of two things. Either the prophecies in the Old Testament already happened and they'll try to apply it to something in history, or in the case of somebody like a Garfield, they'll say it's a failed prophecy because they have no spirit. I'm going to show you that Jeremiah 51 is not a failed prophecy. It was never talking about ancient Babylon. It was always talking about this Babylon right here. Let's do a quick exercise. What is the Cyrus cylinder? So what we're going to do, this exercise is called a chronological synchrony. Meaning what? Meaning we're going to match the history of the Bible with the history of one of the countries that was neighbors to Israel, with Persians. And the Persians have records in their history of how they overtook the Babylonian Empire, because the Babylonian Empire was first, and then afterwards it was succeeded by the Persian and Mede Empire, right? So when you look at the Cyrus cylinder, right, one thing you guys will see right here, if you're looking at the PowerPoint, it also has certain things concerning their dealings with Israel also on these cylinders. So what does this prove? This proves the Bible is real, because the Cyrus cylinder, I believe, sits in the British Museum today. So this is a primary source. Speaking about things that are also spoken about in the Bible. This is your chronological synchronism. This is how you do scholarship. But what I want you guys to notice about the Cyrus cylinder, lines number 20 through 22 speaks about dealing with Cyrus's royal lines. So who his father was and who his sons was, so forth and so on, dealing with his lineage, right? And genealogy. And also it speaks about his peaceful entry into Babylon. That's what we're looking for. This is what we were looking for. His peaceful entry into Babylon. So Cyrus entered Babylon in peace. Jeremiah 51 says the Most High was going to raise up a destroying wind against Babylon. So that's not talking about ancient Babylon. It's talking about this Babylon. Is everybody following along? Let's go to the next slide. When you look at, and I have another chart right here, when you look at it, all the things spoken about in Jeremiah 51, Babylon falling with sudden violence. Verse 26, total destruction, never to be rebuilt. Verse 64 of Jeremiah 51, permanent annihilation. Verses 39 through 40, a fiery judgment. Verse 25, fiery judgment again. None of these things happen to what's called Neo-Babylon. None of these things happen. But when you look at Revelation chapter 17 and 18, it has the same verbiage about Babylon the Great. The same verbiage that's in Jeremiah is also in the book of Revelation, speaking about Babylon the Great, because this is the Babylon. This is the Babylon that's going to have a fiery judgment, not ancient Babylon, this Babylon. And so this is going to be the outcome. The outcome is already decided. And why is the Most High going to pronounce a fiery judgment on Babylon? Because of the wickedness that they're doing, which we're going to go into today. This digital technology is evil. This is the book of Psalms 137. We're going to pick it up from verse number 4. It says, how shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? Now, if somebody's confused about what the Lord's song is, the Lord's song is the Bible. If you want to get more technical, his laws, statutes, and commandments. This is Psalms 119 and verse 54. It says, thy statutes have been my songs in the house of my privilege. So God's statutes is the song. And it's difficult to sing the Lord's song, to keep the Most High's commandments, to teach God's word in society when we're surrounded by evil. Everybody is against God's word. And as we proceed into this digital age further and further, The Israelites are going to become an enemy number one. It's going to be almost impossible to preach God's word. I'm going to show you guys that. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. How shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy, remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon. So what is Esau? Esau is the daughter of Babylon. The destruction that you read about in Jeremiah 15 is talking about the destruction of Edom, the daughter of Babylon. That is who is going to have a fiery judgment. Verse 8, O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast rewarded us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. Let's go to the next slide. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 34. We're going to pick it up from verse number 1. It says, come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations. The indignation of God is upon all nations. What you guys have to understand is Esau is spearheading this thing, but all nations are involved. They're all involved. Every last one of your leaders have sold you out. So the Most High is going to pour indignation on all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter. Why is God's indignation against all nations? Real quick, let's look at 1 Maccabees chapter 2, verse 10. It says, what nation hath not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? There's no nation that at some point in time or another in history, whether it's antiquity, ancient history, or modern times, that have not benefited off the backs of the children of Israel, our oppression. And so they're going to pay. They're going to pay for it. God is going to make them pay for it. Now, real quick, Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. It says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth he hath but a short time. Now, when you think of the devil, especially when you were a child, you were thinking about this guy on the right-hand side. But it's not this devil that's going to come down on the people because he knows he has but a short time. Is this one right here, the one that today we call white people. They're spearheading everything. And they know that their time is short. And one of the clearest telltale signs that their time is short is the resurrection of the nation of Israel. Remember, Daniel 2:44 says, in the days of those kings, meaning when they're still ruling, the Most High would raise up another kingdom that would never be destroyed. That's his people. That's us. We're raising up the dry bones and standing on their feet in the midst of their kingdom, and they see it. And so what you have now is you have an acceleration of what they're doing to try to bring the whole world into bondage and to usurp prophecy. That's what they're doing. Now, I want everyone to mark this date on your calendar. The year 2030. I want you guys to keep that in mind, because that's going to play a major role as we go forward in this presentation. And we are in the month of November currently of 2025. So 2030 is 4 years and 2 months away. That's not very long. So keep that year in mind as we proceed. The first place we're going to the United Nations website, right? You guys can see that. I asked on the screen, what is an SDG? What is that? The average person doesn't know what an SDG is. I didn't either. An SDG is what is known as a sustainable development goal. Now that sounds harmless. Don't sound like much, right? This is the book of Psalms, chapter 64, verse 2. It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked and from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. What you guys are going to find out about these sustainable development goals, these are secret councils that they've been having since 2015. And they have a goal that by 2030, they're going to have a complete digital surveillance system in place globally. That's the goal. And they speak about it openly on their website, but they give it little friendly names. Sustainable Development Goal. I'm telling you, this is villainy that they're planning. Go to the next slide. So they have 17 Sustainable Development Goals. 17 goals for the people and for the planet, right? It says world leaders came together in 2015. So that was 10 years ago. This is a picture of them right there. 10 years ago. World leaders came together in 2015 and made a historic promise to secure the rights and well-being of everyone on a healthy, thriving planet when they adopted the 2030 Agenda. Now, you guys know when the white man uses the word agenda, it's always villainy. It's always sinister. You got to know that. They plan on doing it by when? 2030. That's why I told you guys, mark it on your calendar. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and its 17 substantial development goals. So there you have it, right? 2030. I told you guys to mark that on your calendar. Here, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, we have an article from the World Economic Forum. Let's go back real quick. So this one right here was from the United Nations, right? You guys see that? Okay. This is a completely different group. This is the World Economic Forum. This is an article. Real quick, I'm going to come out for a second. I'm going to copy that real quick. Okay. So what I want you guys to see is that, remember, let's go back one slide. The leaders came together in 2015. You guys see that right there. The very next year, in 2016, that's when this article was written, November 12, 2016, right there. You guys can see it. The World Economic Forum wrote an article, and I want you guys to listen to what the article says. And that's why I love PowerPoint, because it's one thing to talk about stuff, but when you see it for yourself, you can see that this is not a conspiracy theory. They're openly talking about this. The name of the article is called Welcome to 2030. I own nothing, have no privacy, and life has never been better. In other words, they're going to convince the people that they should have no privacy. That's why you're getting all these digital devices in your house. Because these digital devices are for surveillance, to spy on you. Recently, and I know I'm kind of deviating from the lesson, those of you guys that have RingCam is in part. Look at the companies that RingCam is in partnership with. Do your own research. I ain't gonna spoon feed you everything. Do your research for the companies that RingCam is in partnership with. Their partners have partnerships with police departments across the country where the police can have the right to look inside your house on your RingCam. These are facts. You're being tracked through your cell phone, right? They're giving you all these devices with the watch. They're giving you the glasses, the smartphone glasses. You have your computer, right? And a bunch of other things that are coming. That's going to seem friendly at first, but really and truly, you're going to have no privacy. And they're telling you this. And they're using artificial intelligence and technology to feed it to you. That's why I said it was wicked. Let's go to the article real quick for a second. Let's open up a new tab. Let's go to the article and see what the article says. So here's the actual article right here. It says, welcome to 2030. I own nothing. Oops. I own nothing. I have no privacy, and life has never been better. Better for who? Here's what it says. Welcome to the year 2030. Welcome to my city, or should I say our city. I don't own anything. I don't own a car. I don't own a house. I don't own any appliances or clothes. Now, you might be saying to yourself, how is that possible? I already have a house. I already have a car. What do you mean I don't own it? What you don't understand that they're doing is they're going into this thing, and it's very technical. So I'm not going to go too deep into it because I don't want to lose anybody. But what they're doing is they're going to digitally tokenize everything, make it digital. So the deed for your house is going to have to be tokenized. It's got to be put on a token. The ownership for your car is going to be tokenized and put on a token. And these things are going to run on the blockchain. And the blockchain is going to be owned and controlled by the government and companies that are in bed with the government. And they're going to control it. Not you. You're not going to own it. That's the idea.
Salaki, I'm waiting for you to say people going to be on their spirits and souls going to be digitized on the blockchain. Is that where we're going?
Well, I mean, you said it already. Everything is going on the blockchain. You're going on the blockchain. You just don't know it yet.
Your credit, your everything.
Everything's going on the blockchain. Why is everything going on the blockchain? You guys are going to find out later in the lesson. Because when everything is on that blockchain, they can control it. They can freeze you out of society. Let's keep going. It might seem odd to you, but it makes perfect sense to us in the city. Everything you consider a product has now become a service. We have access to transportation, accommodation, food, and all these things we need in our daily lives. One by one, all these things became free, so it ended up not making sense for us to own much. Right? Let's go down here. I don't want to read the whole thing. There was a particular part. I think I probably already read it. Yeah, I think I already read it. I think you guys get the idea, right? Okay, well, let's read this. First, communication became digitized and free for everyone. Then when clean energy became free, things started to move quickly. Transportation dropped dramatically in price. It made no sense for us to own cars anymore, so forth and so on. So basically, this article in 2016, 1 year after United Nations had that meeting, they said by 2030, they want this to be the reality as much as they possibly can globally. Whether they're able to actually meet the global goal that they're going for, we don't know, but they're moving very rapidly, as you guys are going to see. Let's get back to the PowerPoint. Which one is it? Yes, this one. Okay. See, it's all entertainment, right? The things that I'm talking about, people don't really care about it. Even Israelites really don't care about this stuff. They're just, we call the people in the world sheep, but a lot of Israelites are sheep too. This stuff is literally happening in front of your face and you could care less. You preoccupied with nothing, stupid stuff. It's all entertainment to you, right? Somebody come look at this real quick. Let me turn the volume all the way up so you guys can hear it.
Excuse me, mate. Can I just see your digital ID before you pour that?
Sorry?
It's for the sugar allowance, 1 glass per person. I just need to scan your ID.
I don't have one.
You don't have a digital ID?
No.
Right, I'm going to have to let the police know.
For breaching the Health Protection Act, you are sentenced to 10 years imprisonment. Take him down.
No! Please! It was just 1 glass of Coke! I'm sorry!
Please, she's burning up. She can barely stand. You have to get her seen now. I understand your worry, but she's not registered for a BRIC card. Without it, we can't admit her under NHS care.
Your digital ID has been flagged for incitement.
Incitement? No, I was just talking!
Hands behind your back.
Wait! Hey! I just spoke my mind! You can't arrest me!
Could I take out 400, please?
I'm sorry, your account's currently frozen.
Frozen? What do you mean? I've got more than enough in there.
You guys understand? The account is, when things go digital, they could freeze your account if they don't like what you're talking about. They can freeze your account. See, now you don't have to keep your money in the bank. You could take your money out. You could put it under your mattress. You could do whatever you want to do. They can't control it. They don't know how much money you have. They know whatever's in the bank. They can see those transactions, but how much money you actually have, they don't know. They want to change that. They want to know what you have, what you're spending it on. And if they don't like what you're spending it on, if they don't like what you're saying on social media, they want to have the right to freeze your account. It's called a social credit score. I've gone over this before. Let's keep going.
It was flagged by a government order this morning. It relates to a recent post you made online about the Home Office and immigration.
I need it.
Digital ID denied. Travel quota exceeded.
I haven't done anything.
Get down now!
Morning, ma'am. We're conducting digital ID checks in the area. There's been some irregular online activity linked to this address.
Irregular how?
We just need to verify your identity, that's all.
Right. No, I'm not handing anything.
So, this is a AI video that was made of a dystopian future about digital IDs, right? So, it's all entertaining.
Excuse me, mate.
Until it becomes real life. This is a video from the World Economic Forum, and the name of the video is called 8 Predictions for the World in 2030. So are you guys seeing a recurrent theme? Everything is geared towards the next 4 years and 2 months. Full steam ahead. Society as we know it will not exist the way it exists today. Let me turn the volume all the way up. Listen to this. So goal number 1, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Goal number 2, whatever you want, you'll rent and it'll be delivered to your home. The US won't be the world's leading superpower anymore. A handful of countries will dominate. That's your new world order globally. Right? I'm just going to read the relevant ones. No more organ transplants. They're going to be able to print organs. Here's a good one right here. Number 4, let me go back. I went too fast. You're going to be eating much less meat. Now, some people might be like, okay, well, that's great. We're going to eat much less meat. You don't understand. They're going to control that. It's going to be called your carbon footprint. We're going to get into that later. They're going to control that. And all that stuff is going to be via your digital ID. Let's keep going. Polluters will have to pay an emission, will have to pay to emit carbon dioxide. Now, when you think about that, you're just thinking to yourself, these big corporations, right? They're the ones that are going to be polluters. No. You guys are going to be polluters. I'm going to be a polluter. We're all going to be a polluter because you're also going to be given an energy tax. Meaning if you use too much energy, you're on the internet too much, so forth and so on, they want you to have to pay for that. So let's go to the next slide, right? Now I want to show you guys that wasn't just a video, but it's actually on their website. Same thing, 8 predictions for the world in 2030. So they're moving full steam ahead with this agenda, brothers and sisters. Let's go to the next one. What else are they planning to do by 2030? By 2030, they want to eliminate the handheld cell phone as we know it today, and replace it with the cell phone literally being inside of you. That's called transhumanism. That's called making man one with machines. Listen, turn it all the way up.
I want to ask when you all think we're going to move from this form factor to something that's on your face, glasses, and when computing's all in the edge.
All right, 50 seconds. Who wants to answer quickly? I think it will go. It will. First of all, it will definitely happen. I was talking about 6G earlier, which is around 2030. I would say that by then, definitely the smartphone as we know it today will not anymore be the usual kind of the most common interface. Wow. Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies.
These things will be built directly into your bodies. Where would Esau get that type of technology? The idea to do that type of technology from the devil. They're not that smart.
I want to.
Let's watch this video real quick.
It's part of the human condition to imagine what the future might look like. Years ago, science fiction writers like Arthur C. Clarke dreamed and future-gazed, mapping out exactly what 2020 might be like.
The big difference when he grows up, in fact, if we wanted to wait for the year 2001, is that he will have in his own house, not a computer as big as this, but at least a console through which you can talk to his friendly local, you get all the information you need in the course of living in a complex modern society. This will be in a compact form in his own house.
Our lives have changed so dramatically in the first 20 years of this millennium. But what will our domestic life in 2030 look like? What smart devices will be at the heart of our homes? And with assistive tech supporting us in our daily tasks, will there come a time when we never need to leave the house?
Will there come a time where we never need to leave the house? Are y'all paying attention? Let's keep going.
We hear of things like the Internet of Things informing the stocking of our fridges and freezers, but this is hiding the real story of how we'll adopt such smart technologies. We've already invited extraordinary machine learning devices into our homes. 22% of UK households have one or more smart speakers, while the number of IoT-connected devices worldwide is projected to almost triple to 30.9 billion units by 2025. Yes, most of us only use an Alexa or Google Nest to listen to music, the radio, or play silly jokes with. But behind the scenes, big tech aims to make these products central to how our homes run.
So the companies behind smart speakers, or they're called now digital assistants, are actually trying to transform them. So they're not digital assistants anymore, but more sort of household managers or household brains.
Household managers, these devices that we're bringing into our house, because we like modern technology. We all do. I do too. The idea is for these devices to manage, aka control your house. They're spying on you. They're watching what you're doing. They're sending data back to the creators, right? Who have partnerships with the government. They don't know everything about you. Everything.
Actually can control a whole network of other devices inside your home. The likes of Apple and Amazon are trying to integrate their smart devices so they work with automatic hoovers that will basically work on their own. They'll map out the inside of your home. Now, whoever is in charge of household chores is going to be totally liberated from having to do that, because they won't have to spend hours hoovering. They'll just be able to get an automatic vacuum to do it instead. That will mean a big change for a lot of people. NVIDIA are basically working on developing this sort of quite large, giant robot arm that will live in your kitchen. It can help you open drawers, it can put things away, so it will map out where everything lives in your kitchen, and the idea will probably be that it can tidy up after you, or it can even do the cooking and then tidy up. That would mean you probably wouldn't even have to be in your kitchen. It might just serve food out of a porthole that you never have to even enter, and obviously that would transform everybody's houses.
In the future, this sensor-led technology will likely be built right into the structures of our homes. Smart modular housing developments are starting to emerge as the viable, planet-friendly option for home buyers and construction firms alike.
So I guess the real advantage with smart homes is they'll be able to monitor everything.
So your smart home will be able to monitor everything. That was all I needed. That was all I needed. Let's go to the next. Now, I've shown this before, but I'm going to show it again. China is more advanced than any country in the system already. China is always the testing ground. When the pandemic happened, it started in China before it went global. This new digital system, this social credit score that tracks everything you do, starts in China. If you didn't see the video before, I'm going to play this video for you guys so you can see how it's going to work. This is how they want it to be globally. Somebody come look at this.
Beijing's digital blacklist just exploded, and over 400,000 people are suddenly locked out of normal life. Right now, across China...
I want you guys, I'm going to go back and play that again. Approximately 400,000 people in China at the time of this video are locked out of everyday life. Y'all want to know why? because they say things on the internet the government doesn't like, and everything is digital over there, so they can shut you out of society.
Beijing's digital blacklist just exploded, and over 400,000 people are suddenly locked out of normal life. Right now, across China, citizens are waking up to a nightmare. They can't travel, shop, or even rent a place to sleep. Their bank apps stop working, train tickets get denied, and not because they committed a crime, but because the government says they're untrustworthy, and that one word is all it takes to vanish in plain sight. What exactly does it take to land on China's blacklist in 2025? How does Beijing control your spending, your movement, even your relationships without ever setting foot in a courtroom? And could this system become a model for the rest of the world? To understand how China turned a secret list into a nationwide shutdown, we need to start with what just happened this week. The shutdown. It starts quietly, no announcements, no headlines, no warnings. On Monday morning, July 21st, 2025, the Supreme People's Court of China silently updates its central enforcement database. Buried deep inside is a growing registry known as the List of Dishonest Persons Subject to Enforcement, or more ominously, the Blacklist. By Friday, that list doesn't just grow, it explodes. Over 400,000 active names are now on it.
400,000 people are blacklisted because of them being quote unquote dishonorable because the government doesn't like what you say. So you can't access your bank accounts. You can't get on trains, which means you can't travel. You can't get Ubers. You can't do anything. You can't do anything. So this friendly technology that we all think is wonderful is not so friendly. This is how they put you back in slavery without ever putting chains on you. And I was talking to my wife the other day about this, and we were talking about it, and I said that these social constraints that are going to be on people is going to force a lot of people that otherwise wouldn't submit, to do things that you don't want to do. We're going to be tested, every last one of us, because everybody is Superman and Wonder Woman. When society's open and you can do what you want to do, and America's not fully digital yet, and you can do whatever you want to do, right, to a degree. So we all have this strong idea of how strong our faith is until you're tested, until I'm tested. Let's keep going.
The largest jump in recorded history. But this isn't just a spreadsheet or a court filing. It's a digital execution order, one that blocks your ability to live a normal life. If your name is on that list, you're banned from purchasing plane tickets, high-speed rail, luxury hotels, and even basic rentals. In many cases, you can't apply for loans, swipe a bank card, or use Alipay and WeChat Pay. Some are even banned from dating apps, flagged as morally discredited. What used to be warnings or rumors are now official, system-enforced lockouts. No one is untouchable. And the most disturbing part, you don't even know you're on it until your life stops moving. There's no knock at the door, no court date, no hearing. 1 minute you're buying coffee, the next, your payment fails. That's exactly what happened to Li Wen, a 28-year-old sales manager in Beijing. She tries to split a dinner bill with friends, but when the QR code scans, WeChat Pay flashes an error. Transaction blocked, restricted user. Her bank app won't load. Her train ticket gets declined. In less than 24 hours, she's digitally paralyzed, and she has no idea why. She's not alone. Across Beijing, a university student misses a tuition payment by 10 days. When he tries to book a Didi ride to class, the app says he's ineligible.
He was 10 days late on a student loan, and they locked him out.
An online merchant in Shenzhen disputes a fine from the local court and suddenly loses access to customer payouts. In Shanghai, a middle-aged man finds out he can't board a train to visit his sick mother because his social credit score dropped overnight. None of them received formal charges, none of them were arrested, but all of them are blocked from movement, frozen by code. And it's not just a fluke. Over 100,000 names have been added to the blacklist in the last 7 days alone. That's not enforcement. That's a purge. The system isn't creeping, it's surging. The digital grip is no longer quiet or subtle. It's choking and it's tightening in real time. But the scariest part isn't how many people are banned. It's how easy it is to end up on that list.
Y'all got that? All right. That's how it's going to look. Of course, it'll have its nuances in every country, but that's pretty much how it's going to look. Let's go to the next one. Their plan is in full motion. China was the testing ground, and now a lot of other world leaders are coming out that they're down with this too. That's why the Bible said the Most High is going to, his indignation is upon what? All nations, because they're all involved. They're all in bed together. Look at this video right here.
And I think we should move towards a digital ID. It's something that the banking industry is actually working towards today with a product called Authentify, where once you authenticate yourself with one bank, we can share that ID in any other service that you might want to use electronically.
Let's go to the next one. What's understood doesn't need to be said. Over 2,000 world leaders
at the same time
went to this meeting in 2024 at the World Economic Forum. Over 2,000 leaders attended. Listen.
At the same time, we are witnessing rapid technological advances with many opportunities and with artificial intelligence rapidly transforming our production and our lives. And breakthroughs from the fourth industrial revolution provide new opportunities for global prosperity and growth. All those factors will have a profound impact on the future of humanity, provided we are able to work together. To drive future economic growth, we must embrace innovation and foster collaboration.
And force the collaboration
across sectors, regions, nations, and cultures to create a more peaceful, inclusive, sustainable, and resilient future. At this critical juncture, the active participation of all stakeholders is essential to ensure a sustainable development path. I'm delighted that close to 2,000 leaders from multiple sectors, representing some 80 countries and regions, have come to Dalian for this year's meeting.
So 2,000 leaders, 80 countries, 2,000 leaders, meaning business people, companies, tech companies, so forth and so on. They're all in bed together. Let's go to the next one. Let's go deeper. They want transparency. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Dans ce nouveau monde,
So I'm gonna, for those that's on YouTube, you guys are on Clubhouse, I'm gonna just translate what he's saying because he's speaking in, I believe, German. So, but the captions are on the screen, so I'm gonna read it as he is speaking. He's saying, in the new world, we must accept transparency. You must accept it. Do y'all remember that article I showed y'all earlier? By 2030, the World Economic Forum said what? You will have no privacy and life will be better. These devils are not hiding it anymore. In the new world, we must accept transparency, meaning you have no privacy at all. You're bringing all these machines into your house and they're all telling on you. The powers that should not be know everything about you, everything you're doing, everything. It's all digital.
Dans ce nouveau monde, on doit accepter une transparence, et je dirais
and I'll even say total transparency. Everything is going to be transparent. And you have to get used to it. And you have to behave accordingly. Oh, hold up. Wait, hold up a second. Let's look at that again. You have to get used to it. And you have to behave accordingly. Let's stop it right there. That's what's going on in China. That's what's going on in China. Your life has to be an open book because everything is digital. And you better behave yourself and not do something that we don't like, or we will blacklist you out of society. Not a conspiracy theory. It already exists, and these devils are talking about it openly. They don't care. It becomes, how should I put it, integrated into your personality. But if you have nothing to hide, you shouldn't be afraid. If you have nothing to hide, you shouldn't be afraid. He's trying to justify that if you want to have privacy, that means you have something to hide. Why don't you want them to know everything about you? Let's go to the next slide. I can't see the chat, but I'm going to ask a question. How many of you brothers or sisters have ever seen the movie Minority Report with Tom Cruise? The movie came out in, I believe it was 2002. There it is at the top right there. 2002. If you saw Minority Report, put 1 in the chat. If you never saw Minority Report, put 2 in the chat. It's okay. You can do the same on Clubhouse if you're there. In these movies that we go and watch and we laugh at and we're entertained and we say that's not real, that can't possibly happen, they're literally telling you the things that they are planning on doing. They're literally showing you their future, your future, and shrouding it in entertainment. So there was a movie that came out called Minority Report in 2002. That's 23 years ago. Right? And who directed the movie? Steven Spielberg. Now, let's look at this, right? This is the truth in plain sight. I want you guys to listen. Hopefully I don't get striked for doing this. But I want you guys to listen to this right here. What's going on with this? Hold on 1 second, guys. All the way up. Yep. I want you guys to listen to this right here.
When the precogs declare a victim and a killer, their name.
So
when the precogs declare a victim and a killer.
Real quick, for those of y'all that are watching the PowerPoint, these are called precogs in the movie, right? The precogs would be what we call today artificial intelligence. In the movie, they call them precogs. Right here, right? Okay, now that we know that, let's watch this video real quick.
When the precogs declare a victim and a killer, their name is embedded in the grain of wood. Since each piece is unique, the shape and grain is unique. The shape and grain is impossible to forge.
I'm sure you all understand the legalistic drawback to pre-crime methodology. Here we go again. Look, I'm not with the ACLU on this, Jeff. But let's not kid ourselves. We are arresting individuals who have broken no law.
But they will.
So I'm going to take it back because many of you guys maybe didn't see the video. I didn't look at the chat. So the precogs, which today will be called AI, their job is to predict or prophesy, whatever word you want to use, that somebody committed a crime before they actually commit the crime. So you can actually stop crime. You can eliminate it 100%. Because the precogs, aka the AI, can predict that you're going to do a crime just by actually having access to your brain and knowing your thoughts. And you could be jailed if you thought about doing something. Just think about somebody offending you, right? We as Israelites, we don't act out. We forgive, right? All these things that the Bible tells us to do, we forgive 7 times 70, right? It don't mean that you don't think about the fact that if I wasn't an Israelite, I would knock your head off, right? Well, the technology would read your thoughts and they could lock you up now. Priest, that's far-fetched. That's not real. Okay, well, let's look at this first. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Look at this.
When the precogs declare a victim and a killer, their name is embedded in the grain of wood. Since each piece is unique, the shape and grain is unique. The shape and grain is impossible to forge. I'm
sure you all understand the legalistic drawback to pre-crime methodology.
Here we go again.
Look, I'm not with the ACLU on this, Jeff. But let's not kid ourselves. We are arresting individuals who have broken no law.
So we're going to arrest individuals that have broken no laws. They just had a thought. They're showing you this in the movie, and we're all laughing. This is entertaining. Okay, let's keep going.
They will. The commission of the crime itself is absolute metaphysics. The precogs see the future, and they're never wrong.
That's not the future if you stop. Isn't that a fundamental paradox?
Yes, it is. You're talking about predetermination, which happens all the time.
Why'd you catch that? Because it was going to fall.
You're certain?
Yeah,
But it didn't fall. You caught it. The fact that you prevented it from happening doesn't change the fact that it was going to happen.
You ever get any false positives? Someone intends to kill his boss or his wife, but they never go through with it. How do the precogs tell the difference?
Precogs don't see what you intend to do.
Only we do. Then why can't they see rapes, or assaults, or suicides?
Because of the nature of murder. There's nothing more destructive to the metaphysical fabric that binds us than the untimely murder of one human being by another.
Somehow I don't think that was Walt Whitman.
It was Iris Cinnamon. She developed precogs, designed the system, and pioneered the interface.
Speaking of interfacing, I'd love to say hello.
So we all watched that in the movie, for those of us that did, where you have these precogs, which I say is AI, and it can determine your thoughts. It knows your thoughts. And so you might have thought about doing something to somebody or something, whatever it might be, but you're not going to act out on it. It was just a thought. We're human. In this movie, if you think it, you can be arrested and prosecuted for your thoughts. Now, we'll sit here together and say, that could never happen, right? That could never happen. You know, right? Okay. So I decided I wanted to have a conversation with AI, as you guys could see. So I went to ChatGPT because I had a thought. I said to myself, can you give me, this is ChatGPT right here, as you guys could see. I asked it, can you give me a summary of the precogs in the movie Minority Report? They were able to know your thoughts and catch you before you act on a thought. Here's what ChatGPT told me. The precogs receive visions of future murder as vivid, fragmented images. Their brains are wired into a complex system that interprets these visions into digital data for the police. Digital data for the police. The pre-crime officers then identify and arrest the would-be criminal. Pre-crime meaning that you didn't do it, you thought about it. They have something called a pre-crime where they can come and arrest you for thinking it. Now, again, this is all entertaining. You might say to yourself, well, this is not, all right, priest, whatever. Now we're going to come back to the World Economic Forum. Remember, our good friend said that he wants transparency. If you have nothing to hide, then what's the problem? The next question should be, what type of transparency are you going to have? Here they are at their meetings telling you about the transparency they want to have. Listen to the video.
I'm excited. So, first off, a video. It's going to make you see the future and understand a wonderful future where we can use brainwaves to fight crime, be more productive.
Y'all missed it. You missed it. A future where we can use brain waves to fight crime. It went from being a movie to being at the World Economic Forum. They want access to your brain. Now y'all understand earlier why I said that this stuff that looks friendly to you, it's not your friend. Let's go back.
I'm excited. So first off, a video. It's going to make you see the future and understand a wonderful future where we can use brainwaves to fight crime, be more productive, find love. Let's roll.
You're in the zone. Even you can't believe how productive you've been. Your memo is finished, your inbox is under control, and you're feeling sharper than you have in a decade. Sensing your joy, your playlist shifts to your favorite song. Sending chills up your spine as the music begins to play. You glance at the program running in the background on your computer screen and notice a now familiar sight that appears whenever you're overloaded with pleasure. Your theta brainwave activity decreasing in the temporal regions of your brain. You mentally move the cursor to the left and scroll through your brain data over the past few hours. You can see your stress levels rising as the deadline to finish your memo approached, causing a peak in your beta brainwave activity right before an alert popped up, telling you to take a brain break. But what's that unusual change in your brain activity when you're asleep? It started earlier in the month. You send a text message to your doctor with a mental swipe of your cursor. Could you take a quick look at my brain data? Anything to worry about? Your mind starts to wander to the new colleague on your team, whom you know you shouldn't be daydreaming about, given the policy against intra-office romance. But you can't help fantasizing just a little. But then you start to worry that your boss will notice your amorous feelings.
Your boss will notice your brainwaves. She has access.
And shift your attention back to the present. You breathe a sigh of relief when the email she sends you later that day congratulates you on your brain metrics from the past quarter, which have earned you another performance bonus.
You got a bonus because of your brainwaves.
Jamming to the music, with your work-issued brain-sensing earbuds still in. When you arrive at work the next day, a somber cloud has fallen over the office. Along with emails, text messages, and GPS location data, the government has subpoenaed employees' brainwave data from the past year. They have compelling evidence that one of your coworkers has committed massive wire fraud. Now, they're looking for his co-conspirators. You discover they are looking for synchronized brain activity between your coworker and the people he has been working with. While you know you're innocent of any crime, you've been secretly working with him on a new startup venture. Shaking, you remove your earbuds.
The battle for your brain. The white man is talking about this at the World Economic Forum in front of everybody. You thought it was just a movie. No. Let's go to the next one. So I had to come back and talk to ChatGPT again. I said, wait a minute. Right here, this up here, this is me. I said the precogs in the movie Minority Report and their abilities seem very similar to the idea of brain transparency that was spoken about at the World Economic Forum. Do you guys see that? AI said, that's very insightful. That's a very insightful connection. And you are right. And you're right. Meaning, it wasn't just a movie. They were telling you, they want to have access to your brain. They want to know what you're thinking. Let's go to the next one. And it gives me a chart. AI even gave me a chart of the parallels between the Minority Report precogs and the World Economic Forum brain transparency idea, because they're the same. And ChatGPT even told me there's ethical tension because it's not right. Even AI is telling you it's not right that they're even talking about this. Here's Dr. Evil again, letting you know that they're serious about this. It wasn't just a movie. Listen. He's talking about putting implants in your brains. Where do we see that in the Bible? The Israelites like to argue about Revelation 13 in your head, in your hand, and your forehead. Listen.
Can you imagine that in 10 years when we are sitting here, we have an implant in our brains, and I can immediately feel, because you all will have implants, I
missed that. He gonna have an implant in his brain, and he said you all are gonna have one too. Let's go back and watch it again.
Can you imagine that in 10 years when we are sitting here, we have an implant in our brains, and I can immediately feel, because you all will have implants, and we measure your brain waves, and I can immediately tell you how the people react, or I can feel how the people react to your answers. Is it imaginable?
I think that is imaginable. I think I think, you can imagine that. You can imagine, well, you're going to be sort of transplanted into, the internet, so to speak, to live forever in a digital realm. You can imagine that, you just in your biological incarnation are going to live to be some, very long age.
So I want you guys to see how it quickly went from being entertainment to being real. And all nations are in on it. While we are distracted on TikTok with stupid viral, stupid things that whatever it is that we're into, stupid stuff. These devils are having these secret councils talking about how they're going to enslave the world through this digital technology. This is, his name is Dr. Yaden, right? He used to be the vice president of Pfizer Pharmaceuticals, but he's no longer the vice president, and he's a whistleblower. And he was being interviewed. I want you guys to listen to what he's saying about the digital IDs that are coming. Listen, let me turn the volume all up.
We are living in a peri-tyrannical situation where there's only 2 clicks left when you are required to have digital ID to move around and have a life, and when cashless central bank digital currencies are the only way you can buy and sell.
Okay, you guys caught that? We're going to go back and watch it again. There's only 2 things left before they're fully able to they want to implement. They're going to be implementing a digital ID that's going to be mandatory. And we go into a CBDC, which is a cashless society, and everything is through your money, your currency, everything is digital. And we saw how that's good for the people in China, right? We already saw it. Okay.
We are living in a peri-tyrannical situation where there's only 2 clicks left when you are required to have digital ID to move around and have a life, and when cashless central bank digital currencies are the only way you can buy and sell. At that point, you've lost your freedom. If you follow the breadcrumbs to 2030, and
2030.
you look up the UN 2030 SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. By 2030, Britain specifically will have no commercial passenger aircraft leaving the country. You will not.
Wait. Did y'all catch that? By the year 2030, he's saying, we don't know if this is true or not, but this is something that's been spoken about. By 2030, commercial flights leaving out of Britain, he's saying, will be no more. Now, what would lead us all the way down that path? We don't know. But clearly we can see that there's a lot of nefarious, evil things going on that are being planned. Let's go back a little bit. Just a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't freeze up.
No commercial
not far enough.
By 2030, Britain specifically will have no commercial passenger aircraft leaving the country. You will not be able to leave. There will be no ships leaving the country. You will not own private transport. You will have a digital ID to do everything, and you will only have electronic money with which to transact. I would say at that point you are a slave, and because you see them coming, you should say no. Say no right now. Stop. The things that are happening are really fantastic, but they go back decades. There's no question that there's been a very long run-up to the level of control that we are going to face if we allow cash to be winked out of existence.
So you're not going to be able to get on the plane to leave. You're not going to be able to get on the train to leave. You're going to be stuck where you are. Where did we see that in the Bible? Oh, 2 Ezra 15. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be seditions amongst men. There's going to be insurrections and all that amongst these governments when they try to bring these things in. And invading one another. They shall not regard their kings or their princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Verse 17. And a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. The Bible is not wrong. The Bible is right. We're literally watching this stuff unfold before our eyes. Those of us whose eyes are open, that are not a slave to TikTok and YouTube and watching stupid stuff, but you actually, that's why I thank the Most High for me getting the spirit to do PowerPoints, because this forces me to study every week. I have to sift through a lot of information to bring it to y'all. So I'm always tuned into what's really going on. And plus, shout out to my brother. I got to give my brother a shout out. I know he's listening, brother Kanai Shah. Kanai Shah feeds me a lot of videos too, because he's always on X and these different platforms and gets videos, and he feeds me these videos for me to show y'all as well. So shout out to that brother.
We are living.
So now, again, for entertainment purposes only, we have an AI video of how it's going to look, because we already know China has the system, but that system is actually spreading. The next place it's going to spread is Britain, the United Kingdom, where a lot of our people are. Check this video out real quick. Let's look at this.
Welcome to Digital Britain, where every child must scan their face before entering school.
Under the new Digital Compliance Act, all citizens must verify their digital identity or risk losing their privileges.
Honey, did you post an opinion on social media again?
You have exceeded your electricity usage for this week.
Did y'all catch that? You have exceeded your electricity usage for this week. Remember, for those of y'all that are really locked in the World Economic Forum video of 8 things by the year 2030, they talked about your carbon footprint. They're going to start restricting how much electricity you can use, what you could eat, all of that. That's the goal. That's slavery. That's slavery.
Your heating request has been denied.
Sir, I'm sorry, but we cannot permit you to board this flight, and your digital ID confirms you have exceeded your carbon footprint for this year.
The suspect is fleeing after refusing to present a valid digital ID. Stop right there. Don't move.
Welcome to the system, little one.
Will they find us?
Payment declined. You have exceeded your travel quota.
That's a cute little AI video, right? Yeah. Harmless is cute. It's entertaining, right? Well, this is the Prime Minister of Britain recently. Let's hear what he has to say. Somebody come listen to this, please.
And that is why today I am announcing this government will make a new free of charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID.
Y'all heard that? Okay.
It's as simple as that. Because decent, pragmatic, fair-minded people, they want us to tackle the issues that they see around them. And of course, the truth is, we won't solve our problems if we don't also take on the root causes.
So the United Kingdom, Britain, is moving towards the digital ID. And you cannot have a job if you don't have one, right? It's going to be called the Brit card. That's it right there. Okay. That's all I needed. Let's go to the next one. Australia has also passed the same thing. Remember, Klaus Schwab from the World Economic Forum said 2,000 leaders in 80 countries came. They're all in on it. A last one of them. Australia has also passed a law for digital IDs. Somebody come look at this.
Third reading, the bill for an act to provide for the accreditation of entities in relation to digital IDs and to establish the Australian government digital ID system and for related purposes.
For the sake of time, I'm not going to play the whole video, but you guys can see this took place May 17th, 2024. Australia also passed the law for the digital ID. Now, this was also said at the World Economic Forum. You're going to have a digital ID in the future. This is their plan, to be able to get on the internet. And there will be no more anonymity on the internet. No more. Listen.
I propose putting an end to anonymity on social media. In our countries, no one can walk the streets with a mask on the face or drive a car without a license plate. No one can send packages without showing an ID or buy a hunting weapon without giving their name. And yet, we are allowing people to roam freely on social networks without linking their profiles to a real identity. This paving the way for misinformation, hate speech, and cyber harassment, because it is facilitating the use of bots, and it is allowing people to act without being held accountable for their actions. Such a continue. In a democracy, privacy, not to anonymity or impunity, because with those two, social coexistence would be impossible.
So you guys heard it. We ain't got to play the whole video. You guys heard it. You guys heard it. This is all that's coming. Go to the next one. Let's listen to this video.
We're developing, through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's, where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So individual carbon footprint.
Y'all need to hear that again. Yes, you need to watch it again. Where you're traveling, what you're eating, all that. They want to know. They want to know. This is where the digital age is taking us. They want to know.
We're developing, through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's, where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
So you have, for instance, some celebrities that like the Israelites, right? But they can't openly support us. They can't, come out and say that they support what we do, but they watch us in anonymity. That's going to go away. Well, you might like to look up certain information, whatever you're looking up, whatever the situation might be. They want to know. They want to know what you're doing. That's why I told you the technology is introduced to you in a way that's user-friendly. But the end of it is to enslave you. They're going to know everything about you. They'll be able to shut your money off. They'll be able to blacklist you and shut you out of society. So when this technology becomes available and popular, we already know as Israelites, everything that we say will be against the system. Are we still going to, this is a time of self-examination, introspection. Will you still say the things you're saying right now about Esau and the system when this thing is fully integrated? Will I? That's the question. That's the question. That's why I read y'all Revelation 12:12. The devil is coming down with great wrath because he knows he has but a short time. So they're going full throttle on this. I'm going to skip this video because it kind of solidifies a point that I made earlier. Maybe in a future class I'll play it again. But the CBDC, which is the central bank digital currency, they want the money to be digital so they can shut you off from your own money if they don't like you or what you do. They can shut you out of your own money. Doesn't matter that you went to work and worked 40 hours, 50 hours, 60 hours a week. If you posted something that they don't like, they can shut you out. In a future video, I'll play this, but not right now because time is of the essence.
To think, for example, that
There's much more to get to. Okay. I got to have a conversation with my brothers and sisters from the tribe of Benjamin. Why? Because that's my tribe, although I do sojourn with the tribe of Ephraim. At the end of the day, I'm from the tribe of Benjamin. And many of us have this mentality as though when all this goes down, you're going back home, right? That's what you say. You're going to go back home so you can avoid this, right? I hate to burst your bubble, but your leaders are part of this as well. And let's go to the line, right? Let's start with Barbados. Barbados is about to go digital and cashless too. And if you don't down with it, you are, man, you can't participate in society. Just listen. It's going to be everywhere. Wake up.
Today is the day that the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. So today is August 12th, 2025. And today is the exact day that the Central Bank of Barbados rose up their National Digital Payment System. Now, what's interesting about this National Digital Payment System, or what they're not telling you, is that this system, much like First Pay and Cash App and the other digital payment systems, is attached to your traded digital ID. And if you do not accept this ID, eventually you will be cut off from the system and the digital revolution in what is the cashless agenda in Barbados. If you do not take this traded ID, 1, you can't vote. 2, you can't have a driver's license. 3, you cannot benefit from social services like health care, etc., etc. You will be cut off from the digital revolution, which is supposed to take Barbados into a fully cashless society. If you go to the polyclinic or some other government service and they ask you for your digital ID, you don't have it, well, you will not benefit from what is called Barbados. And this is what is coming down for Barbadians all over. Now, this digital payment system that is being rolled out by the Central Bank of Barbados is also attached to the African payment system, which is called PAPS, P-A-P-S, the Pan-African Payment System. Hence the reason why so many Nigerians and other Africans are being allowed into Barbados and they are given these digital IDs and they're participating in this digital revolution. Now, this happens all across Africa. And what's interesting is that so many persons are kept in poverty because they've been excluded from this cashless agenda. They're also allowing the CARICOM nationals to come into Barbados as residents. And if you don't know, if you're a resident in Barbados for over 6 months, you are allowed to vote. So all of these people are coming to Barbados on your taxpayer dollars, and you are funding the government into this cashless agenda, and they will essentially exclude you if you choose not to participate in this new digital revolution, taking Barbados into a fully cashless society. So we.
All right, I needed to have this inter-tribe talk with Benjamin because I hear it all the time. I'm just gonna go back home. No, you're not. This is gonna be everywhere. Wake the hell up. This is Isaiah 123. Thy princes are rebellious and companions of thieves. Your leaders in the Caribbean are companions of thieves. Everyone loveth gifts and followeth after rewards. They judge not the fatherless, neither doth the cause of the widow come unto them. This is Micah 3:11. The heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire, and the prophets thereof divine for money. Yet will they lean upon the Lord and say, is not the Lord among us? None evil can come up upon us. A lot of times, and we as Caribbean people, we'll look at Black Americans and say their leaders are sellouts. The Congressional Black Caucus and them, they're sellouts. No, your leaders are sellouts too. They're all sellouts, all of them. Wake up. Let's go to the next one. I got to talk to you Jamaicans because y'all be loud and strong. Loud, strong, and wrong. Your leader's a sellout too. I know I'm ruffling some feathers. That's okay. I'm supposed to. Your leaders are sellouts too. And this is very interesting right here, what we have right here. Let's listen to this real quick.
What is the policy vision?
Let's turn the volume all the way up. We don't want to miss none of this. They send you the face nice and soft, the woman, so you think everything is good. Meanwhile, this is a serpent. Listen.
What is the policy vision?
Every Jamaican is consuming goods and services above the minimum acceptable national standards.
Yeah, that went over your head. That went right over your head. She said, every Jamaican is consuming products above the minimum national standards. Translation, your carbon footprint. They're going to start controlling what you eat. You thought that was just going to be in America and Britain? No! Wake the hell up.
What is the policy vision?
Every Jamaican is consuming goods and services above the minimum acceptable national standards and has equal and equitable opportunities and support to achieve and maintain income security and improved quality of life.
What are the policy goals?
The national poverty goals are to eradicate extreme food poverty and reduce absolute poverty to significantly below 10% by 2030.
By when? By when? I missed that. Sorry, y'all. I missed that. By when?
And reduce absolute poverty to significantly below 10% by 2030. These goals are fully aligned with the Vision 2030 Jamaica national 10% by 2030. These goals are fully aligned with the Vision.
What's that on y'all screen? Remember I told y'all to remember that date? Remember I said remember that date? This is what the United Nations has planned. This is what the World Economic Forum been talking about, and Jamaica's in on it. They're in on it. Of all the dates they could pick, they picked the same date as the UN and the World Economic Forum. You tell me if that's a coincidence or not. I don't know. Let's go back a little bit.
10% by 2030. These goals are fully aligned with the Vision 2030 Jamaica National Development Plan, Jamaica Social Protection Strategy, and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals.
There it is.
It's coordinating the implementation of the Poverty Reduction Program.
The Planning Institute of Jamaica is Jamaica's focal point for coordinating, monitoring, evaluating, and reporting on the implementation of the National Policy on Poverty and the National Poverty Reduction Program. The National Poverty Reduction Program Committee, which comprises representatives from key ministries, departments, and agencies, private sector, and non-government organizations, has the responsibility for providing central oversight, tracking and monitoring of poverty reduction programs, reducing fragmentation and wastage of resources, fostering collaboration, and creating sustainable pathways out of poverty. We invite you to view the next video on part 2 of Exploring the NP.
Just sell off. Anyway, let's go to the next one. I'm going to leave that alone. Go to the next one.
What?
Now, this is interesting because now that we know that Jamaica has a plan for 2030 that they're trying to implement, which is to go fully digital, it's already on the books. Now we have a hurricane that comes, and the very place that they're going to start in Jamaica is the very place where the hurricane went to and destroyed it. So it can be rebuilt into this digital city. Yeah, that's a coincidence. That doesn't mean nothing. There's nothing to see here. Listen to the video, man. I'm going to leave that to you guys to decide. We're just going to listen to the video.
So let me get this straight. A massive, ultra rare, once-in-a-lifetime hurricane slams Jamaica, and the island already has a long-term plan on the books, Vision 2030 Jamaica, to reshape infrastructure, cities, and services by 2030? totally unrelated, I'm sure. Vision 2030 Jamaica talks big. It's a whole vision of how to rebuild and modernize. Just a reminder, disasters unlock budgets, redraw maps, and fast-track projects. But I'm sure they have nothing to do with each other. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, let me know what y'all think too. I'm not even going to comment on that. You could go ahead and digest that, and you do with that information what you will. What you will. I'll come back to this. There's something called Operation Popeye. Do you guys know about it? I'll probably go over this in another video in the future. Operation Popeye. What is that? It was a military cloud seeding project that was carried out by the U.S. Air Force during the Vietnam War. If you think that they still don't do that, we'll just leave that there for now. Let's go on to the next slide. We'll come back to this in the future. I told you I'm doing this whole month. Here's the Prime Minister of Jamaica letting you know Jamaica's going fully digital. That's why they have Project 2030. Or that's why I told y'all to save this date. They're all saying the same thing. They're telling on themselves. I'm gonna go back to Jamaica for what? It's gonna be the same. You're not escaping this.
In the coming weeks, and days, I'll be making certain announcements regarding the acceleration of Jamaica's intention to become a fully digital society. We are well on our way to this. We have established the national identification system. We have put in...
Y'all missed that. You missed that. They got digital IDs coming to Jamaica. And they got digital currency coming to Jamaica too. Hello? You going back home to do what? To be under the same thing system you would have been under if you stay here in America. It's the same.
In the coming weeks, and days, I'll be making certain announcements regarding the acceleration of Jamaica's intention to become a fully digital society. We are well on our way to this. We have established the national identification system. We have put in place our digital currency. We have given directions to our ministries to digitalize their operations. Most of our ministries are now moving from paper-based systems to digital systems. Our military is transitioning. The society is moving very quickly, very rapidly to become digital. Our banking consumers are seeing it as well because the banks are moving very rapidly to digital. You have something now called artificial intelligence. Very soon, this position of a human being exchanging cash and so on, that is going to disappear from the banking system very soon. And you are going to have to interface with machines. I don't want it to be a scary thought, but it is a thought that we all have to embrace.
That's literally what Klaus Schwab said. People are going to have to embrace it. They're going to force people to embrace it.
Yeah, Priest, he's saying be afraid, but it is a scary thought. There's a video that shows that there's this Jamaican lady, right? And she was complaining that the banks only allow them to take out a certain amount of money a day. And you only allow maybe 2 or 3 transactions. That's it. If you're trying to pull money out. So he's talking about don't be afraid. They're already telling you you could only spend X amount. You could have millions of dollars in the bank, but what good is that if you're only allowed to pull out a certain amount each day? And if you and for my Israelites who want to run back to Jamaica, I got family down there. If you want to run back, gone are the days where you might think, yeah, let me pull out 500 now and 5. Nah. If you want to pull out anything over a certain limit, you got to go into the branch. You think Chase is give you problems? Go to the Caribbean and try to pull money out. See how long you go. You're gonna be waiting there for at least a week. So yeah, Priest, you're right.
Well, as he just said so eloquently, hey, they're turning digital, so there's no more pulling money out the bank. It's going to be all digital. So you're not going to be able to move the money around. Whatever you can't pull out today, in the future, it's going to be digital where you don't pull it out anyway, but you can't move but a certain amount of money per day. So you're still going to be locked in. You're still going to be locked in. Let's go to the next one.
Jamaica needs to prepare itself for this dispensation of the fourth industrial revolution, where the cyber world will be paired with the physical world. So you're living in the cyber physical. Technology and machines are working together, not just to deliver services in an independent way that was largely delivered in a non-physical way. Now, as was demonstrated, you have machines that can be deployed with artificial intelligence that can function physically. So it's not just call center jobs that we need to be looking at very closely. It is other kinds of jobs that will also be impacted. The solution is not to hide from it. It's not to be fearful of it. The solution is for us to use the technology to increase the level of training and skills in our society so that our people can take on higher order tasks which bring higher order pay.
All right. So you guys are seeing it, right? Everybody's down with this. There's no escaping this, right? I'm going to kind of bring this thing down to, for those of you guys that are in the Gophers Gang room on Club at 12 o'clock, you guys go over there. I'm probably going to go for a few minutes longer. I want to play this video. I said I was going to do it another time, but I want to play this video because I think that the brother really said a lot of great things in this video. I don't agree with everything, but he said some very salient things. And he mentions a lot of history that a lot of people are not aware of. All right, so let's go ahead and play this real quick. Turn the volume all the way up.
So which one is it? Is it Hurricane Melissa or is it Operation Popeye? Maybe a lot of you don't know what Operation Popeye is, right? A lot of you might not believe that they are seed in the clouds cause flood in certain areas because, like I said, with war, you need to know earth, air, water, and fire. And this is something that they use also in the Vietnam War 1967, right? Because you can use it to flood certain areas so you can have control over, especially like the trade.
You can use it to flood certain areas. They use it in Vietnam. And Jamaica has something called Jamaica 2030. They want to rebuild a city as digital. Anyway, listen.
I know right now Venezuela have a pipeline, with the Russian thing, right? So the real thing that they're not talking about is why all of this military presence in the Caribbean waters. What's happening in the Caribbean waters now? You know what a red herring is, right? So oil and minerals, all of these are red herrings. This is not the reason why these people are going to war. It's just like what happened with Iraq and all of these countries. What they did not want is, it was not about the mineral in the earth. They wanted to install Rothschild central bank in these countries. So they destabilize them and control them and install the bank. So now once they have control, once they have their banking system in your country, it does not matter who sits.
Once the central bank is in your country, it doesn't matter who the price or bought for. Bank controls everything. That's what he's trying to tell you.
Bank in your country, those same families control your country. Doesn't matter who your prime minister or your president or your chancellor is. That's what this is about. And the last country they wanted to get was Iran. They can't get it. They tried to move through Syria to move closer to Iran, but they lost there. That's what Russia went inside there. So America had to pack up all their military stuff, millions of dollars, and they just had to run. They nothing could have saved their equipment. Those are millions of dollars. So what's happening in Venezuela right now? You think they care about the oil? Really? Russia, all right, let me say this first. In the New Testament, it says, when you see Jerusalem compassed with soldiers, which was the Roman army, you need to run to the mountains. Right now, where Jerusalem is the place where the Hebrews dwell.
Right.
And right now, most of the Hebrews are over here in the Western world.
That's right.
Right? So what happened is this is not the Roman army this time. This is the hunters that are hunting the Roman army. Right? So the hardest thing for them to do is win a battle on their own ground. You see, it's easy to go on foreign lands, to conquer foreign lands and win war over in foreign lands, but they've never been attacked in their own land. And this is what's happening. They have all of these military superpowers in their backyard. You understand? Venezuela has the Buck M2 system. Venezuela has the Buck M2 system from Russia. And what happens with Russia is once they give you a military device or whatever, they're going to have their soldiers there to help operate the system. Right? So that's exactly what's happening, just like with Iran. So Russia is there, China is there, Iran is there. All of those superpowers are there in their backyard. They cannot afford that. This is why all this big military, you really think they need all these warships for cartels? Really? Come on, we saw what happened in Jamaica in 2010. That man has one of the biggest deal. He controls even the Central and South America. It was not just in England and America and Jamaica. That man he had many links. He controlled many different things. They don't care. They don't need all of these warships for that. Now they're in Trinidad. What do you think they're trying to do? They're scared. They're driving fear in the people, and they themselves are scared because they've never had to deal with what? Military powers in their backyard. And that's what this whole thing is about. So think about this so-called storm that's coming. You see, it's already justified already. It's what they say. Every 37 years, Jamaica has a major hurricane. Well, I don't know beyond Gilbert, right? And I don't know about that history. But what I'm saying is, and I don't know who's there to prove that, to dig up 37 years before 1988 to see that major hurricane. But it's justified. So whatever they're doing with this hurricane that has been sitting out there very obedient for about 2 weeks, and all now we cannot reach Jamaica. Oh, it's traveling so slow. No, that sounds like something is controlled. They cannot pick up where the Russians are and what they're putting in Venezuela. That's the problem. America is in fear right now. Their currency is under threat. Their economy is under threat because of the debt and everything. And if you want to know about any kingdom collapse, the first thing is always the economy. The military spending, the military things far away from home. All of that.
That's how ancient Rome fell. The economy fell, and the Roman army was deployed in many, many different countries, and that's how it fell. America does the same thing. It sends troops here, troops there, everywhere, and the economy is messed up. It's because America's Rome all over again.
Comes down in high expenses, and you know what happens? Into the citizens of the country, high interest rates, and all of these things. Why you think cost of living is you can hardly afford cost of living now. You are being forced to do 2 or 3 jobs. You are being forced to do 2 or 3 jobs to keep up with what's going on. You're going into depression, everything you can think of, because you're confused now. You're frustrated. You don't know what else to do. You don't know how to survive anymore. So first, this economic collapse. This economy has to collapse first, and that's what's going to happen on the inside. Then what happens? Civil war. The place is going to be in confusion, and you cannot fight a war.
That's what Second Esdras was talking about. There's going to be insurrections and all types of things. Once the economy collapses, it's going to be chaos.
With outside forces, when there's a disruption going on in the country, you will never win that war. And that's exactly what's happening to America. It's just like when, you know, they man them, when them grow on and then go up people yard and do whatever, they feel powerful because they are the hunters. But when soldier and police come and they become the hunted, the table turned. Right? So this is exactly what happened to America. They're out in the South China, they're everywhere trying to contain communism. Now guess what? Communism is at the back door. Military presence is at their back door. What are they going to do? They're the ones living in fear now. Whenever America made their presence anywhere, it's about their interests, not about the people. It's just like some years ago, Obama came here, right? Why did he come? What was Obama's visit here? What was the purpose? You see, but what people don't understand, Jamaica and Venezuela are like this in this oil business, right? When Jamaica was going through their crisis, Venezuela helped them bail us out, right? Obama came to sow a seed to turn us from Venezuela. I think they had a deal where I think Jamaica has 51% in the oil thing and Venezuela 49, something of that sort. Venezuela going through their crisis, Jamaica turned their back on them. Why do you think Jamaica is like the head of CARICOM? Because Jamaica and America is like this. Jamaica is a very key point in this whole Western thing. If you remember when the 1812 war with Britain and USA, they thought Britain was gonna attack them from Canada. No, they used Jamaica. So this is the only place that America cannot afford to lose in the Caribbean. They don't care about what's that place where the lady turned to? She's now a Republican type of country. I don't remember that place, but
I know I ain't gonna say though. I don't want to offend nobody. But if you know which one of the Caribbean countries has a Republican running it, then you know. That's what he's talking about. I ain't gonna say because somebody might be offended.
Remember, the Prime Minister visited China for about 9 days, right? And then Al Tapia say,
"Yo, your man Andrew Holiness visited China for 9 days. We saw how China's running fully digital." Hey, I'm over my time, so let's come here real quick and let's kind of wind the class up. Let's wind the class up. This is Proverbs chapter 1. Let's start from verse 1. It says, "The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice and judgment and equity, to give subtlety to the simple, to the young man, knowledge and discretion." Verse 5 is the important part. "A wise man will hear." So now that we see what's actually going on in real time in the world, a wise man and a wise woman will hear and understand what times we're living in, and we have to start building ourselves up. Stop focusing on things that are not important, that are irrelevant, and build ourselves up and understand that things are about to get real bad real soon. Many of you brothers and sisters will not want to opt in. Just based on what you guys saw today, you will not want to opt into the system. Okay. What do you have in place if you decide to stay outside of it? And look how divided we are as people. I'm talking about the Israelites that know they're Israelites that don't get up. Look how divided we are. How will you be able to survive? This is a wake-up call. A wise man, a wise woman will hear. Verse 5, "And increase learning. And a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel." Wise counsel is, listen, man, we got to come together. Zephaniah 2:1. Come together. Verse 7, "To understand the proverb and the interpretation and the words of the wise and their dark sayings and prophecies." So we're seeing the prophecies of the Bible, and we understand in real time they're unfolding. So the question is, what are we going to do? And guess what? We can't take everybody with us. Some people are going to get left behind, and some people need to get left behind because we're not in the time where we need to beg nobody. Either you get it or you don't. Keep sharing. You learn information, you share. But if somebody's closed-minded, like this one right here, then guess what? We skipping you. You closed-minded, we're skipping you. We got to move on. This is Ezekiel 39, verses 20 through 29. It says, so the house of Israel shall know that I am the Lord, their God, from that day and forward. Talking about in the future. And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity. So why are we in the midst of all this sinister stuff that Esau is doing? Because of our iniquity. Because they trespassed against me. Therefore hid I my face from them and gave them into the hand of their enemies, and so they fell by the sword. And here we find ourselves today. Verse 24, according to their uncleanness and according to their transgressions have I done unto them, and hid my face from them. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, now will I bring again the captivity of Jacob, and have mercy upon the whole house of Israel, and be jealous for my holy name. So the Most High is going to us. He's going to protect those of us that are doing what we're supposed to do, that have repentance. After that they have borne their shame. So why is this stuff happening? And all that whereby they have trespassed against me, dwelt safely in their land, and none made them afraid. Verse 27. And gathered them out of enemies' lands, and am sanctified in them in the sight of many nations. Then shall they know that I am the Lord their God, which caused them to be led into captivity among the heathen. But I have gathered them unto their own land, and have left none of them any more there. Neither will I hide my face any more from them, for I have poured out my spirit upon the house of Israel, saith the Lord God. And that's our hope. That's the gospel. To be continued. To be continued, because there's much more that we have to discuss in the coming weeks of this month. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. I pray that today's class was, edifying, and you brothers and sisters were able to follow along. If you guys were able to understand, put one in the chat. Let me know that you guys were able to follow along. And then Most High allow, I'll continue in the upcoming weeks. Okay, it took a minute. I was about to say nobody understood. There was no ones for a minute. I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell did I do wrong? Do I have to reteach this class again? Now, what I do want to say is this real quick. I don't want anybody to think that these classes are not to scare you, right? The Bible does teach us in the book of Acts that we shall through what much tribulation enter into the kingdom. So these classes are not to scare you, because it is written that the Most High is going to protect his servants. That's you and I, sisters and brothers. If we continue in his word, we'll be protected. But at the same time, you need to know what's going to happen. You need to know what you're living in and what Esau is doing. You need to know all this. That's the purpose of this class. We don't want people walking around just oblivious to what's going on around you. And then one day it falls on you and you realize what you're into or where you are, and you bug out. Because our people that are not this truth, when this digital system, they really realize what it is, our people are going to bug out. But they can't be us. All right? Now, with that being said, I'm going to share my screen one more time. I want to show you guys something else. Make sure that it's there. Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me just do something real quick. I'm going to share my screen one more time. Oh, no, I'm wrong. Just do it this way. Okay. Here it is. All right, I want to share my screen real quick, guys. So, guys, tomorrow, I know the date is wrong. I'm going to go in and fix the date. Tomorrow is November the 2nd. Tomorrow at 5 o'clock Eastern Time, on the same YouTube channels you guys are on now, we're doing a class called How to Sustain Yourself in a Chaotic Future. When you see how the city behind them is all chaos. How to sustain yourself in a chaotic future, meaning we're going to give you, brothers and sisters, practical applications of things to do when society collapses around you. Now that you have the knowledge, it's not to scare you, it's not to make you bug out. There also have to be solutions, because this is what leadership and leaders do. They don't just tell you things, but they give you practical solutions and help you. That's what we're going to do tomorrow. How to sustain yourself in a chaotic future. All right, it's going to be on Maccabees TV tomorrow. So, guys, make sure you go over there, hit your notification bell so you guys don't forget. And we want to see the same amount of people that's here today. I want to see y'all tomorrow, if you're available, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In that class, let's have the conversations. We're going to give you guys practical things to do when society collapses around you. We already have these conversations within our camp, but I don't just have my camp to listen to my classes. So we're going to share things that we speak about amongst ourselves with everyone. All right, then. So that's pretty much it for me. Elder Zahab, do you have anything before we get out of here? Oh, before you go, to Ray Payne, don't worry. In the upcoming weeks, we're going to talk about Trinidad. Trinidad is absolutely part of Project 2030. We're going to talk about Grenada. Grenada is absolutely a part of Project 2030, and all the rest of the countries in the Caribbean, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, all of them, they all sold out. Every last one of them. With that being said, Elder Zahab, do you have anything real quick before we go?
Yeah, Salaki, no, excellent class, priest, excellent class, and it's timely because everything that's going on kind of Mosai wrapping it up with a spiritual bow. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, everything is timely. I just want to add on to what you said about this is not to be fear mongering. This is not to make people be afraid, because the scriptures tell us that the Lord didn't give us a spirit of fear, right? But this is just using wisdom and preparing yourself. Like it says, Proverbs 22:3, it says, a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. Now, hiding yourself doesn't mean physically putting yourself in a cave or hide. Like the priest said, there's pretty much no country you could go where this thing won't be implemented. Hiding yourself is wrapping yourself in the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High God and using wisdom. So the Lord will show you a way, right? Because throughout all the adversity of the righteous, the Lord never leave them alone. So he'll show you a way. So hiding yourself just means bringing yourself closer to the Lord, right? But it says, but the simple pass on and are punished. And like what the priest said, a lot of our people, they're going to have to perish. You know what I'm saying? 2/3 got to be cut off. So this is timely. Everything, is just a fool could see that something is going on. Nothing is going back. You know what I mean? Priest, I pray maybe I'll do my class dealing with the SNAP benefit shutdown and the layoffs and UPS and Amazon and all these companies. Like people who put their whole trust in the system are just gonna get a rude awakening. You know what I mean? And we as Israelites, it's like we insider trading. We got the inside tip. We know what's gonna happen before it happens. You see what I'm saying? So don't have that spirit of fear. Have that spirit of wisdom and faith and just shore yourselves up, man. Because we warriors and we got to gird ourselves up. But that's it, priest. Excellent class. Shalom.
All praise to the Most High. Yeah, what you said was so salient. Yes, definitely do that class, because I thought about going that way, but I said I'm gonna deal with the AI. So if you deal with the layoffs and everything, because the AI actually it goes hand in hand with the layoffs, because the reason why a lot of people are being laid off is because of AI. That's the problem.
Right.
So it's like
and
they go hand in hand.
The people who are not in the truth, they bugging out. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's a blessing from the Most High. You don't have to celebrate no Thanksgiving. You don't have to celebrate Christmas, or so-called. You know what I'm saying? Save some money, man. You there running around talking about you're going to run up in Walmart. It's a lot, man. Our people, they just sheep to the slaughter. But yeah, priest, it's a lot.
Con, real quick, give me 1 second. Want to show something real quick before we go, because you got me. 1 second, things are moving a little slow. I'm gonna show you guys something. If it doesn't come up, then I'll do it another time right here. Okay, so let me share my screen real quick, just to Elder Zahab's point real quick. This is Ecclesiastes 12, which I'm sure when Zahab does his class will go into it, but just to say what he's saying, right? This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12. I'm going to pick it up from verse number 4. It says, "And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of grinding is low." You guys know what grinding is? Grinding represents like a mill, like a grinding mill. It's work, factories, jobs, Amazon, UPS, all these companies that's laying off tens of thousands of people. The Bible says the sound of grinding is going to be brought low. That's going to happen. It's prophecy. That's why the chapter starts off saying, "Remember the Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not." Because there's going to be evil days that's about to come when the sound of grinding is going to be brought low. There's going to be no jobs. Right? So this is very timely that he's going to do that class, because we even have people within our camp that get SNAP benefits that are being cut off. So we as leaders have to set things in place and provisions in place for people that's going to be affected by that. So there's much work to be doing. There's no time to be bickering over, I'm just going to say it, children cover years. There's no time to be bickering over bullshit at all. There's too much bullshitting going on in the Israelite community for me. I'm just being honest. With that being said, I'm Andrew Theus, your brother priest Daniel, represent Lions of Israel, Maccabees TV. We love y'all. We'll see you guys again here next week, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We appreciate y'all. If you're watching us on YouTube and you have not subscribed, that's wicked as hell. Subscribe to the channel. Support the brotherhood, the sisterhood. We'll see you guys again.